All right. Well, welcome to our May AI workshop, and got a lot of exciting updates for everyone. There's been we missed last month, so it's been 2 months since we've seen it, and I'm just going to jump right in. So over the last 2 months, almost every major AI manufacturer has released their huge end of year findings. So OpenAI had their conference and a lot of updates. Claude released a new model, Opus. Honestly, I'm a fan of Copilot now. I know a lot of you have heard me just make fun of Copilot over the last year, and I'm going to show some Copilot stuff that we've done internally, and it's actually a pretty cool tool. So just a nice simple example here is we have this um yeah, using the deep research, which I use deep research probably more than any other tool if I'm trying to find something. And I showed this a little in the last one, but I think as far as like shovel ready stuff that can really help business leaders, this deep research is by and far the most useful tool that I use from a day-to-day AI perspective. So, and I think it's available at the $20 account for ChatGPT. I also think the free one might give you one or two deep researches, or it'll give you web search. Web search is basically a lighter version of deep research. It'll still do a lot of what you're looking for. Deep research will just sit and normally recursively think like, here, I ran this one. It ran for 8 minutes, searched 110 sites, and I was looking for just what are some fun things to do in June to take the family or company, do events within 60 miles. So then it goes and creates this big giant list of all the Sparta Butterfest. I'll be attending that. But Eau Claire, breakfast on the farm. They just gave me a bunch of events that I could go and either take my kids to, or if I want to do like a weekend company outing where I'll tell my team, let's go out to one of these and we'll buy it. They just give me a quick list of all the things that I could do. And then, of course, you could refine it if you wanted to and say, hey, what about bowling type activities or racing activities, or maybe you're a tractor pull person, or in Wisconsin, these are just the type of things we do in the summertime. So it just
I
gave a
I
nice
know one
quick list, and you
I know
can,
one thing that's come up, Rod, that I had a question on is with deep research, have you found a model that's better than another to core to combo with it to get more precise results? Or I know mostly I do the O 04 mini high myself, like you there, but
yeah, 4 mini high is the highest one, but 4.0 will work pretty well. So like if I go and let's just go and create a new one. Actually, let's go back. And we'll come back to this one, but and we'll just downgrade to that one. Oh wait. Stop. I forgot to tell it to deep research. Then normally it'll ask me some questions. I normally just say yes because I don't want to read and answer their questions. But if you're doing a very specific research, then it might be worthwhile to take a look at what are you actually doing on here. And this will spend a couple minutes looking. So while that's doing, we can go and look at some other things to see how it works. But let's actually just go back to ChatGPT. But so here's an example of one that I use. So here we're looking for IT conferences that we could go to, both in Fort Myers and Wisconsin. So I'm like, hey, I just we're an IT firm. We specialize work with healthcare manufacturers in the state of Wisconsin. Could you give me an exhaustive list? So it went and searched for 10 minutes, 100 sites. Then it gave me all these conferences that we go focus on for our IT. And then we can go choose which one of these would we want to go to. Like Brookfield, these are Milwaukee. Milwaukee isn't really our target area. It is a growth area we've looked at moving into, but it isn't one that we're super excited for. Madison, that one's definitely possible. So we could look at doing that particular conference, but it basically just did all the research we needed to for this. And then, and I'm looking for events where decision makers would come to look for solutions. and it gives me more lists. These are all Wisconsin, Minnesota. Like this one here in Minnesota, that might be a decent one for us to go to. Industry of focus, senior care and assisted living. We have a number of senior care and assisted living that we're supporting. So this one's like, all right, that one we might want to put on our schedule for February 11th. Or for manufacturing focus, and then give me a complete list, all of these. Then I switch. We have a branch down in Fort Myers, so I asked it, can you do the same type of thing in Fort Myers? And our lead down in Fort Myers are going to start looking at going. I think there was one coming up in June. Yeah, this one. So he's going to look at actually signing up on this one and go. It's up in Tampa, not that about 2 hours away, but it'd be a good opportunity to go there, and then I get an exhaustive list of this. But if you've ever done any research on stuff like this, you could spend a whole day clicking around on Google. This entire search was probably 200 plus, individual searches and consolidating it. And yeah, and I've used this over and over. Like here, I did let's see, a research for what are some recent advancements in orthopedics. I was working with someone that's an area of interest for theirs. So I went and found in the last year, as well as gave cited sources that they can use for why was this one chosen as an advancement in orthopedics. So everything from what can you do fun with your team or family to give me the advanced, latest, cutting edge orthopedic news in the last year. If we come back over to here, not quite done yet. But so deep research is just one that I have used tremendously over the last year or last couple months. And the more I use it, it's almost like the rebirth of the AI for me that it adds so many more capabilities that just weren't even possible. Another use case that I've been piloting, and it's one of the newer features they released, is you can go ahead and add documents in. And this is an example. If I'm looking at hiring someone, and we just hired a team member up in Eau Claire, I can have it go through a giant list of documents. I'm just pasting in my job posting. Then I'm gonna tell it, can you look at these resumes? Grade each one and give me plus or minus for them. I don't know if that can. Yeah, I guess I can show it. So yeah, here it like, and these are all fake people. I generated these all fake. You see their 555 numbers. So we're not showing anyone's personal information. Everyone can be comfortable on that. So this was all pre-staged for this particular demo, but if they had real ones, it would work as well. And these are all just random. You have here, this person is a marketing specialist. This one's operations manager. So I have a bunch of different resumes in here just so that way it works with a couple different job postings. But I can go ahead and ask it to go review them. It's going to sit and read the document. So I gave David William an A minus because he has operation manager. Then it goes and just gives me each one. So David, and it's only because David, he's the only one that has operation manager in his title. So they're like, yeah, this guy's of the ones you gave me, he's the best. But you can do comparative of this type of stuff on anything you're trying to compare. If you had RFPs that you're reviewing for purchasing, you could put it in here and say, hey, give me the plus and minus of each one. Some might be lower cost, some might be higher. And to do a review of 5 people's resume, that can take a decent amount of time. Normally, when I'm reviewing resumes, I go and glance at them for 30 seconds, and that's about what they get. Ironically, the gentleman we just hired, I almost didn't even take him to the first appointment because I glanced at his resume and he had a lot of non-IT type stuff in there, but in small print to the left, he had his IT experience. And really, after we interviewed probably 20 people, he was clearly the best. So this here would help me to maybe ignore or bypass some of my own scanning capabilities that if a resume just wasn't formatted perfectly, I might disqualify someone that is actually a really good hire. Any questions on this type of tool or use?
Rodney, do you think that you have to put the parameters to kind of ensure that there's no bias involved? I know that's been a hot topic with like ATS systems and the Workday AI lawsuit. But if you're having it grade, do you have to tell it how you would grade as if you were reviewing the resume?
So what I would do is I would just ask it about the bias, because you can. It's great. And you can, if there's special criteria you'd like to have it view for, like we're all from the Midwest, and maybe we like Midwest style names, right? And you might be looking at, am I disqualifying someone because they have a non-Midwestern name, or doesn't match the culture that I particularly come from? And the AI could probably, I think, help eliminate or reduce it, especially if you're asking those type of questions. To, hey, I want you to actually look at, are we being biased in our decision? Because you might even run it post, like let's say you guys made a decision for, we're moving these ones forward. You could give the AI like, hey, here's what we're looking at forward. Is there any perceived bias that you might see in here based off these are all the resumes that we reviewed? That would be my perspective on it. Is that I think you could actually use this to help reduce bias. And even on the, like when I do hiring, and you're far more in the HI world than I am. My HR revolves around, this person looks like they can do the job, so that's really all that's it for me. But um, if you're looking at especially industry, because you might hire for things that you don't know how to do the actual job, but you're handling the HR role, right? Is that fairly accurate? Or do
Yes.
you know? Yeah. So like this could help identify, were there and I'm going to speak outside of my knowledge base here, so correct me on anything I'm wrong, but like if someone has a poorly written resume, that might be from a social economic background that didn't have the opportunities that someone of a higher income, or a better family structure, or some type of social economic impact that would help. Like they had mentors that could, hey, this is how you do this. So therefore, when we're reviewing these, we could go ahead and just bypass a highly qualified candidate that just didn't know how to write a resume correctly. Now, some jobs, knowing how to write a resume or documents are highly important. It's a critical job function. But there are other jobs where written communication isn't as important, but they would be penalized because they don't know how to write a good resume. And AI could actually help get around that, and that it just looks at the content of the resume outside of the format as a whole. So just using one example where I think it's possible that AI could be part of the solution to bias, not necessarily exasperate it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. But what I would encourage you're the specialist here. Go ahead and try it, like and see, is it actually increasing bias, or are there cases where you could maybe see where I use this and it help reduce bias? So I would I'd be interested to find your findings if you play around with it a little bit and see like the plus or minus on it, or if there are bias criteria that you could go look at to, like, I don't know if there's a list of, hey, these are the things that we definitely need to make sure we're not doing, and then run it through your resumes that you've looked at. You might want to change some of their PII or personal identifiable information so it's not in there, but yeah, so that's my 2 cents on that. So here, this was with the 4.0 model. We got, I mean, it's a lot of stuff here, but actually, this almost is better, like Lobster Fest. Does anyone else here in La Crosse know about Lobster Fest? All right, sorry, I'll move on, but
It looks like
June
the
6th.
lacrosse rotary puts it on there.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've heard of it before.
well, I might be going down to
Wow.
get a little bit of lobster.
Yeah, that's next Friday, right? Yeah, next
I
Friday.
know. If it was a lobster roll fest, I mean, I would be definitely all in on that. But anyway, we're getting distracted. But this is another example of just using this is for the most part, the generalized model that is used for everything. This here is a higher model. I think on the freer tiers, they might limit your usage of this one. Where this one, from my understanding, for the most part, is completely almost unlimited use for all users on all support plans. So this did the same type of level, and you might be limited on how many deep research you can do, but so another big feature that ChatGPT came out with, and I'll be showing a little bit of this when I get into the Copilot talk, but you have the ability now to sync this up to your Microsoft Drive, which includes all your SharePoint documents. So if you're in an enterprise and you have to make sure your enterprise allows the sharing of the SharePoint, there's some permission levels on there, but you can actually have this search through your SharePoint and use SharePoint as your answer engine. So much like you saw this go through the internet and get reference documents and cited sources here, it'll do that on your SharePoint to ask you, so that way you can go try finding that. Now, maybe you guys in your organization don't struggle with this, but at Coulee Tech, we have so many SOPs and documents that we've written for all these edge cases that it can almost become like unusable. And then we always fight. All right, do we have to create a new one? And then my team goes and creates a new one, but there was one in a different location. So now we have two for the same one. Which one's the authorized document? Which one's the unauthorized? Like, so this here allows you to kind of bring that all together, but use ChatGPT as your answer engine with your own data, which is very, very valuable. Let's jump over to Claude, because the big news with Claude is that they came out with this Opus 4 model, and Open 4, or yeah, the 4 model. But the Opus model, they haven't had an Opus model in over a year. They've released Sonnet 3.7, which we were using for most of our software development. But now that we have the 4.0 model, it is the 4.0 with the Opus. From a software dev perspective, we've been doing some pretty powerful items with this, and it's just doing a great job of answering these. And if I have time at the end, I'll show you guys one of the things that I was building on this. I actually redid it yesterday to add some features, and I kind of broke it. So we'll see if it's actually working. The AI told me it is, but this here you can do like can you create a side scroller game for me in HTML? I discontinued my paid program plan for this because I was using ChatGPT for everything. And while that's running, we can do here. Can you create a side scroll? And if you don't know what a side scroller game is, like Mario Brothers, the originals on the Nintendo, those are examples of side scrollers. But you can also do the same type of thing we did over there with actually, let's see if I can just create a new one while this is running. Upload file. And this one, I'm going to look for an HR manager. Can you review these resumes and give me a recommendation for this job posting? Make sure to give minus well as to evaluate for bias in our hiring process. So here's my side scroller again. That's all right. All right, well, that's a side scroller, right?
For
That was
like
all
one
single shot. You
for
could
single
adjust it
shot
as
run,
needed.
that's really good.
Yeah. Yeah, for your first so these are the bad things. I think it made it so it can't be passed from this level though. I don't know if I can make that jump unless is there a double jump capability or left arrows, space bar. Anyway,
I think it was Grok I was using a couple days ago. I had to create Tetris in PowerShell, just basically to see if it could do it. Took a little bit of back and forth, but I got there.
yeah, and I think Grok released a new model here as well. I just haven't been as impressed with. So Grok will oftentimes answer questions that, especially from a cybersecurity perspective, where these ones here get afraid of it. It's like, I'm not going to help answer you because they think they're trying to be hacked. Where Grok will just be, Grok doesn't care. It's like, look, I'll just answer any question you ask. So
Oh,
Claude here is a little more sensitive as well. So this one, it didn't even actually answer, give me recommendation. Oh, I guess it did. Yeah.
I was mostly I was mostly trying to see if it could create a graphical game in a really non-graphical
Oh,
scripting
and
language.
sorry, I didn't catch that point. And did it actually work in PowerShell?
Yeah,
Wow. For those that don't know, PowerShell is like a command line version, so uh, of the Windows operating system here. So this also has the preview option. Oh, what am I supposed to do here? Oh, I'm not even. All right. Well, how do I? So ChatGPT did the same thing, but these are capabilities that a lot of these models are able to hit first time, which is also why it's able to do those advanced things we were showing you with being able to build business applications in first shot. So I was talking to a client yesterday that they have a big issue of just moving a file from one department to another. I'm like, well, what if we created just a web server and we threw an upload button on it? They're like, oh, that'd be awesome. I'm like, yeah, it'll take me 10 minutes. But so this I might go ahead and can you output all names as a list with a grade next to each one? All right, so yeah, it didn't like any of these. What's funny is they didn't give it an F, right? If someone's in the wrong field, I would not want a salesperson in HR. But all right. So yeah,
A
this is
salesperson does great at recruiting, Rodney.
all right. That's true. That's true. But would they be potentially making promises that aren't necessarily real?
Well, you coach them on what they can promise.
All right, all right.
That never happens, Rod. Come on.
Sure, take as much time as you want. I do. Or take the time off and all right. So yeah, maybe a sale. I'm gonna put that. I have found salespeople do well in recruiting side, and with some coaching, can learn the finer legal and detail aspects of HR. Can you evaluate each with pluses based on their past history and how those might be useful for HR and where they would likely need coaching? Because Anastasia brings up a good point that a lot of these do have secondary skill sets that are maybe hard to find. Like, because even at Coulee Tech, like if I find someone who's pretty good from a customer service perspective, they could likely make a very good tier one tech because they know how to connect with people well, and I can teach them the tech side of it. Whereas like if you take a super hardcore tech, maybe someone's gonna be a tier 2 or tier 3, it's very hard to teach them the customer service side of of IT.
I mean, I go from my previous experience. You would have looked at my resume and come from a construction industry and then said that would I be a good candidate for the staffing industry, you probably wouldn't have done that. But I definitely made that transition and did just fine. So yeah, I think there's probably a little biases in there, but some of my core skill sets helped me dramatically in that role. But I don't know that AI would pick up on that unless you probably have some more human knowledge to look for those things.
Yeah, and it's building your prompt. Like you get to do this enough, you'll learn what prompt to put in here. So I just told it to evaluate it just on the resume, and if you're just seeing what's there, you want someone with sales experience. But if you give it new knowledge, like, hey, I have the ability to coach this person, show me what they could be good at and what they're not great at, and then
Yeah.
use this to help build the personal improvement plans or their career planning or training. And
Yep, and that's actually the way we're kind of going with the reduced workforce. You know, what transferable skills do they have that can align with the duties of this job? And you know, we're also looking at with you know, advancements in AI and you know, workflow processes and automation, you know, reskilling people to do other jobs that, you know, or other tasks that are no longer needed, um, you know, manual entry.
yep.
I was just going to mention, would the retooling be more along the lines of soft skills and critical thinking skills than anything, you know, specifically technical for old job descriptions? I mean,
Yep.
with the use of AI, most people can figure out how to do things, but if they don't have the background or tenacity or some of those soft skills that come through in their resume, it's kind of a shift in looking through people applying for jobs, I think.
Yeah, so a
Bigger
good
corporations are doing like core value assessments, you know, Clifton strengths, and trying to figure out how their, you know, soft skills and attributes will align with, you know, the goals of the organization rather than like the actual technical side of things. So you're absolutely right.
Yeah, yesterday my son's teacher came in because we're doing a youth apprenticeship program, and they came in with these two IT. One was like networking, and one is IT. Yeah, general IT and networking. And he actually does a lot more software development with us, and marketing. So I'm like, well, are there any programs that for that specifically? And she's like, well, I don't know. So I use this program, this here, to do that deep research. It looked at it, and in a matter of 4 minutes, went and found with the Wisconsin Department of Workforce the different programs and they have this program here that we can. Now we chose a general IT one just because it's a super easy one that he'll be able to. I mean, he's already pretty much done with it, but he gets him out of school half a day and he gets credit for it. So he's like, and he gets paid, and I get more of his labor time. So it's all just win-win-win for all of us. But if we're if there was someone who didn't have this skill here, using this deep research one, I was able to find a program through the same workforce program that better meets their skill set. So, and you could do likely something similar where if you took someone's resume, work history that they had currently, and maybe you told it to look at this technical college, or if you're a Menominee, you have the UW Menominee there, what are maybe one or two courses we could send them through to help, well, it would help bridge these gaps, or look at AI to have them use this as a way of helping. Like I have a team lead I'm training up here at Coulee Tech, and I've taught him how to use AI extensively on here's how you write these programs, and I created a workforce program with him that we use these for.
I mean, some to the effect that you're talking about, Rodney, is just with education background is create a lesson plan to bring the employee up to speed on this specific task and break down the lesson plan into like 4 or 5 lessons an
Yep.
hour each.
And as you watch an employee, you can normally see areas they're struggling with. And once you identify that area, you can create a plan that would help them, even if it's an area you're not an expert in, which I think is one of the greatest tools of AI is that I can help train people on areas I myself am not strong in.
I'm
But
actually
this,
presenting at a Department of Justice conference in October regarding recruitment of jail staff and law enforcement professionals. And the technical side, the technical skills and that sort of thing, aligning whatever ordinance or law to things, that is easily coachable. The area of opportunity and that really sets apart different candidates is their ability to communicate and talk to the folks that they're engaging with. There's a lot of newer professionals that don't know how to connect with the people that they're engaging with. So, and those kind of softer skills are more difficult to coach on in the field.
yeah, and if you can set up your hiring process to look for those that they already have, the other side might be a lot easier to find and teach.
Correct.
And on the law enforcement or legal side, let's see. This is another example I use ChatGPT for, but long story short, the city of Unalaska denied me the right to build a deck because my house is too far away from the street. And so I'm serious here. City ordinance says that houses must be between 25 and 40 feet away from the street. Well, my house was built long before that ordinance was in place. It was built 60 feet away from the street. So my house is out of compliance with the current zoning. So they're like, well, you don't have to tear it down or you don't have to fix it, but they won't issue me any new permits of any kind unless I fix the issue. And the issue is my house is too far. They want me to either build 15 feet onto the front of the house to bring it into compliance or move the house forward. And it's like, I mean, and they're like, this is ridiculous. Anyway, I went and fed all my communication with them into ChatGPT here, and this is all the information, right? I had it first research the law, then I'm like, well, hey, here's what they all said. And that's all my emailing back and forth because I'm like, this is a joke, right? But no, I assure you, they're very serious. However, ChatGPT found the local city ordinances for Unalaska, as well as state ordinances and case law on how they misinterpreted both the local zoning, and this is the zoning board, uh, how they specifically misinterpreted that, and then wrote me up a letter for if I want to go and submit a proposal or resubmit my application to attach this into it to cite where they misidentified it using their ordinances. And I can click on in the chat the actual to go right to the website where it shows their ordinances. So now, unfortunately, I've changed some things, so I don't know if I'm going to build a deck anymore. But part of me wants to just rebuild the deck because now I have this document. But like you mentioned, law enforcement, if they don't know the exact statute or something, even just referencing this and not using this as their legal document, using this to find it and then click through to the state-led code or whatever code that they're using for that particular purpose to then helps them find the authoritative code on these different edge cases. They're looking at both from their city ordinances. If police officers have to enforce ordinance, they could have a search like this that they just search their own local ordinances so that they don't have to go and just do manual search for that to find the ordinances associated to it with case law. So it's at your presentation, it might be worth presenting something like this. Maybe not this particular one, but find a better use case for that to how you can use AI to to help you find the ordinances that you're looking for. Anyway,
I'm sure they'd be happy to accept that letter, Rodney.
I'm sure they would too, you know. No, I'm like, boy, this is good. But the problem is, I already learned that I couldn't do it. I plan on just building a dirt mound up because I'm like, well, does landscaping need any permit? And they're like, uh, sadly, they were like, no, landscaping does not require a permit. So I'm like, so I can just build 10 feet of dirt up next to my house instead of a deck? They're like, yes. So I get to do that. But anyway. So now if I want to build a deck, I'd have to, because I've installed a furnace and a 3-season porch and stuff like that. And I ran my piping right along where I put the deck board. So I'd have to bring a plumber out there, move my gas piping. And I mean, there's stuff I'd have to do to get it so I can build a deck now, but I can build a deck. That's the most important thing. I can, and I might go and just submit the permit just to get it approved and then not build the deck. Anyway, we'll move forward. Gemini also came out with their VO3 model. Now, this I actually found out, I think, is only my VO2, because I somehow got a link that if I'm in this particular chat, I can do the video. But if I go and click a new chat or anything else, I can't do video. So somehow I clicked on some special campaign that gave me access to this without having to pay for it. Because I don't want to pay $200 to just test video. I just don't do enough video production, and it doesn't have the marketing ability for me. But VO2 did not have sound in it, and this does have sound. Ooh, let's actually check that. Can you guys hear anything? Something's wrong. Reload the page.
Yeah, no, you had to share a sound.
I was just signed in. You saw it, guys. All right.
I think you need to share audio on the Teams meeting.
Well, this is a presentation, so maybe it's different. Can you guys hear that?
No sound.
Share sound. So here I just asked, can you make an IT professional fixing a computer in a swamp while sitting in water? That's pretty good as far as my book goes.
We did hear the sound that time, just for the record.
Then I asked it to, can you have a drone fly through downtown La Crosse? And while this isn't exactly downtown La Crosse, it's not as far off as you think. The Mississippi River does go and turn that way. There is Riverside Park that is similar to right here. This here would emulate the U.S. Bank building, or this one's a U.S. Bank building. And like this would be the pump house. So it's definitely close. And here I did this one this morning where I was just like, create someone swimming while working on a laptop. That's how we all just hang out in the pool, right?
Is that 8-second length a default or something?
I think so. I don't have a lot of capabilities of yeah, I can't choose the length of it. So I think that is the distance, but they also created this flow lab. I'll pull this in. And if anyone does any marketing or video, this would be worth potentially getting it. But what you can do, create with flow. So this is basically storyboarding. So you can create a giant storyboard, and then I can use that VO3, and it'll stitch together all your storyboard to make a longer video. Yeah, so you have to have the subscribe. And I'm pretty sure sign in with your personal account. Oh, it's my business account. Anyway, for some reason, this is something I've never understood about Google, but all their AI stuff is tied to personal accounts. If you have a business account, they don't allow you to do most of the stuff. And it's like, I just don't get it. Why would they not want businesses to have these expensive paid for services? But anyway,
I think it's an issue of if you have a business account, multiple people might have access to that one account as opposed to an
it's
individual.
possible. You'd think they'd be able to control that on their user permissions. Because you just tie the license to that particular user, but maybe people are sharing users. But yeah, so Flow allows you to stitch a lot of these videos together, and then you can form a single longer video. I think we'll start seeing short films and stuff that are made by solo individuals that are just doing this type of thing. Because you could also make and we'll have to come back to this. Can you make a space-based laser battle between two giant battleships? All right, so we'll come back to that. So, and if I'm seeing this correctly, because I know it's a $200 a month account to make the VO3 videos, but the VO3 videos are very impressive. If you haven't seen any, I'll actually pull one up. VO3.
Bounced higher than I can jump.
Oh, what manner of magic is that?
I mean, if you have kids and you're watching any TV shows, this here's the quality of stuff that they're getting normally. So your kid shows
They
should be
left
made by a
behind
single person.
A ball today. It bounced higher than I can jump.
Oh, what manner of magic is that?
So here's VO2. So yeah, I just don't know if I'm actually, so it says VO2 here, but that thing said previewing VO3, right? So I don't know what, I'm just being honest with you guys. I don't know what model I'm using here, but, and it doesn't tell you, it says I'm using Flash. But yeah, it'll take a couple more minutes on there.
Can you ask it?
You know, are we generating video in VO2 or VO3?
Well, never mind.
I can only generate videos. So no, I can't ask it because it wants a video. You know, I'm going to say it's VO3. It has to be. I'm pretty sure VO2 does not have sound. Because getting generative video is one thing, but then having the video to understand the context enough to know it, be able to generate sound was a pretty big advancement. So we'll wait for this space-based battle one to show. But while that's rendering, I'm gonna pop over to chat or to Copilot. So this is Copilot. So this is in your Microsoft Teams. If you go up to like your chats at the very top, you'll see Copilot a lot of times right here. And if you get the license for Copilot, now for businesses, about $30 per person per license. Nonprofits are significantly lower, and educators might be lower as well. Government, I don't know if there's a special rate for government. But one of the things Copilot, the big, I think, takeaway or a killer feature of Copilot right now anyway, is that you can, with Copilot now, turns your entire SharePoint into an instant answer engine. So I can go and search for, like, we have company principles. So can you find our company principle document? And if you ever tried to search SharePoint before, it's atrocious. Their search capability was just atrocious, really, is what it was. So here is an example where we have 3 different versions of it. So this one was 2023, 2020, 2024, and I could ask it, which one is most up to date? And this is searching through thousands and thousands of documents instantly. So here it's showing, here's your most up-to-date one. I might go and delete these ones then, but we can do this through all of our SOPs. So if we're looking for our server SOPs, or if we put documents of a client in here, we could then start searching. Now we put our documents in a separate system, but maybe we look at bringing them back to SharePoint. We, in 2019 through like 2021, we were putting them inside SharePoint. Then we moved over to a document management tool that we started to move that stuff over into. Well, this might make it, we would just bring it back into SharePoint, because this, rather than having to build an AI that searches all the documents and gives me an answer engine based off the data we have, I can go ahead and then just use this Copilot, and it's in every person's teams already for this. But this type of feature now is rolled out to your email. It's rolled out to all kinds of tools. So, do any of you guys use Copilot currently at your workplace?
I think at the tech school we have Copilot and people have access to Copilot, but we don't have the paid version. We just have what limited capabilities it has without the pay.
It'd be worth throwing into deep research if there's a grant, if you can get an education version of it, because especially your tech departments, you would think the school or Microsoft would want their schools to have this capability. So that way they can teach their students how to do it, because they're going to want those students to go out into the workforce knowing how to use this Copilot.
Yeah, I don't think it's not the issue of want, it's the issue of cost.
What I'm saying is that I would think there's a grant that they make it free, at least for some of your students, or So I know, like, in July, we're Microsoft partners. They want us to go and teach people how to use this, and they're going to pay, I think it was $1,500 for every webinar or anything that we did just on Copilot. So we'll look at setting up some custom Copilot ones that are just to show a deep dive into these one, but they're really paying IT providers to show people how to use this. So I would just think from a school perspective, let me pull up. We might as well do a deep research right here on the chat call, huh? You know what? The share button is right next to the end event button. Yeah. I think that's going to bite me in the butt one of these days. I think so.
Jeff just shared a link. Looks like getting a free access to Copilot Pro.
I know that they were sharing a bunch of the different models for students right towards the end of the year, just trying to get them hooked.
I just checked mine, and I don't know when Copilot was available to my government account, but now it does. Before, when I would try to log in through M365, it was like, we do not have government Copilot or whatever because of my access, but now it's active. So I'm going to be playing around with this.
Yeah, see if you can get it to search your SharePoint or configured so that way it can access your SharePoint. Because if you could roll that out to all your government employees as well, that would be a quick answer engine for all of them, for HR related or other. And you could even teach them how to do it from an SOP perspective, for their departments, and you can limit the knowledge of certain Copilot chats, so it's only pulling up SOP information. And the really nice thing about Copilot, okay, let me get this searching while I monologue here. Can we get this to them for free?
And you can see how badly your SharePoint security is set up.
You know what? That is something else. So I'm on a weekly call with about 20 other MSPs across the country, and that was one of the things that we're looking at doing with our clients. That you open this up, and then can other users access information that they shouldn't? Because the access to the Copilot is limited to the access that particular user has. And if the user permissions are set up incorrectly, that they have access to folders that they shouldn't, it will return answers in here of things that they shouldn't know about.
Yep.
All right, so this will search for a little bit, but yeah, we're going to be spending a lot of time working with Copilot and learning, because even like it's Excel use and PowerPoint, those tools have improved. They're not quite where I think they should be, but they're definitely better than they were even just 3 to 5 months ago. And if you watch the Microsoft end of year or yearly summary and update, Copilot is a huge push for them. Like Copilot is almost going to be their product that is what they're using. So there's I think we'll see a lot of huge improvements in the Copilot. And just 6 months ago, I mean, I did a dive into it, and Copilot, for all intents and purposes, was just worthless. It just really was. And now it is actually, we're using it internally now, but I didn't think they would catch up that quickly. But all these companies are going all in on their AI side of the fence. Let's take a look at it's still generating, huh? Come on now, that was more than 3 minutes, wasn't it? All right. Yeah, that's pretty decent.
Just like the movies, lots of flames in space.
Yeah. I mean, like, if I was watching Stargate and this was the type of this is the type of battle scene that you're getting. Anyone watch Stargate before? Yeah. So this is the type of battle scenes you'd get there. And then you can do into follow-up one. I don't know how this does in context or continuity. That would be an important one. Can you continue that, but make the red ship blow up? Because that would be the next important component is to, and I think the paid for one, I can take the last image of this and then it will continue it on. So I could then tell it to make the red one blow up after being shot. But anyway, I'm not this doesn't offend me at all. I would say this is a decent render for a free tool that I just typed that into. And if I was playing a video game and this was a cutscene, if it was 20 years ago, I'd be happy. You know, honestly, even 10 years ago. Anyway. So yeah, this is still searching there. But I think we'll see flow. Anyone in marketing, or if any of you are working with people in marketing, it'd be worth for them to jump into the flow side. Or even if you're doing video trainings, the flow is a pretty good tool for that, where you can actually just build your flow, or the Gemini one here, where you can build the training videos that you'd be looking for. So I think any questions, or otherwise I have one thing that I'll show. A more
you want to kill the audio,
AI
on that video, since the audio just continually playing.
All right, no more audio. All right. Well, I'll show you this tool here. So this tool is a tool that we've been working on for the last month or so, but basically it's an AI agent engine that will go and review any website out there, does an optimization of it, then recreates a blueprint based off this optimization, generates all the page images, all the SEO component, and then makes it so the page itself is ready to deploy. So I was playing with it last night, and I might have broken it. So I'm going to see if this is working again yet. Yeah, we are working. All right. Oh, this problem came back. All right. So this here problem was that if I'll fix that anyway. In my header image, it keeps that going. But this is an entirely AI generated website that was all the images, everything was generated based off looking at our site. So how it does is it goes and does a scraping of the website to get its site structure and takes a look at all of our blogs and content information, pulls all the images off the website for use that we'd want, then goes and runs an SEO score on all the items to see how we're doing from an SEO perspective on our different pages. So this tool here, this will go and take our page and it extracts what type of services are we for, just so you don't have to type it all in. Then I create a meta prompt that goes and creates a prompt for making the page slugs down here based off the information that's inside of there. And I can edit this meta prompt if I want to, but it gives a summary of the company as a whole. And it goes and searches the website and pulls all the branches of that particular company out there. And then we go and create these page slugs. And these page slugs, I can go ahead and like let's say, can you add industries and a few industries an IT firm would service? It just takes a moment, but this is the equivalency of what I'm doing is just copying the page slugs here, paste it in the chat GPT, put this prompt at the top. I let the prompt run. I take the results and put them into this website. It's just all the stuff we're showing how to do on these tabs over here. I just do it on a machine gun level that it does it quite a bit. Oh yeah, we don't want blogs. Services. And it doesn't work perfectly each time, of course. And I have logging that I can show on the back end. So I can go find out. So what I have to work on next is just refining all these prompts that are going back and forth to generate this different data. All right, it's not creating that, so that part's not working. But it does work eventually, if I didn't break it last night. So then it goes to the page creation one where it'll go and create all the content for each of the sites. So, oh, it's just not refreshing. All right, we'll find that out. And this website isn't open to the public. This is locally here on our. So these are the 5 pages that it made for the industry slugs. It threw the industries into my services area because I wasn't specific enough. And then I can go and click here and I'll go create all the content for these pages. And I get a little feedback for that. It'll go and create these images. So these are all the images that it created. And I'm using the cheapest model just because I'm piloting this. So these models cost me like fraction of the penny. When I go to get this in production, I can use the higher end model, but those cost 10 to 15 cents per image. So it'd be every test I'm running could cost like $5. And I do a lot of tests right now. But here it's going and creating the content. You saw it said complete. This image isn't generated. I think I can generate that. I've never tried that way. And then once it's up, you just view each of the pages and you can see like it created all these. I mean, the really cool part, again, you guys are just seeing a website that's made. It's just that I didn't have to do any work to make this website. This website was made just instantly. We can do this on any website we want. So I can go and look at competitors' websites on why are they ranking higher than me, and then take their SEO and build a page that competes directly with that. I can go look at, and I've done this with top performers across the country, every major market, to find out how is their website structured for my particular services. But yeah, we can do this. I mean, if anyone wants a website, it takes me, as you saw, just a couple minutes to throw one together, and I can throw it and upload you. And these text, I have it set up so that way you just download the folder and you can upload that into any server you want, and you have a fully functional website then as a result of that. So things I have to work on are my header images aren't rendering properly. Like this here, I still need to, there's dark images and the text isn't showing. So there's some minor tweaks that, while it makes it look ugly, just getting to this point, this is 100% AI driven. Like this site was made within 15 minutes before our meeting this morning. So, and these are the type of examples that you could build if you get with Cursor. Just use the Cursor AI tool to do all the software development for you, and you just can basically just work through different tools like this that would allow you to build this. So if you want to do a HR system, you could just tell it to start building each of the different steps and build your meta prompts. And more of my time has been spent making sure my meta prompting is accurate. So that way, when I send the data to the AI, I know what data do I send, and then I know the format it comes back in and that it's accurate. So any questions or anything else anyone wants to dive into this week?
I was just going to share something. I've been in IT for a long time, and I've collected, as many people have in IT, some domains over the year that I thought might be valuable or whatever. But I've never really had any web design creation skills. I'm not a coder. But I took one of those domains the other day, and I'm going to put it in the chat here. I will tell you there's affiliate links on it. So if you click on the links, they are Amazon affiliate links. But I did this entire website with prompt engineering and free grok. I didn't write any code at all for it. And I'm just really impressed with what it could do, especially with the free product, and me just basically telling it, no, I don't like that. Change that to this.
Yeah, let me
And it's very basic, but I was just really impressed on what it could do for you, just basically by telling it what you wanted.
You mind if I use this as a sample for the site builder?
That's fine. Like I said, it's got affiliate links in it.
All right, and then we'll create so let me go and create a blueprint slug. So it basically takes the data it was able to collect off there, and it looks like for the most part, we're able to collect the color blending tools and assistive tools. Would that say the industry that the website looks like it's for?
Yeah, probably.
And then we'll go and generate the page. And you could tell it here if there's special things you want it to focus on. That looks good. We'll generate the content. And are these AI images that you generate up there too?
No, I asked Grok to grab them off of a free, license-free images
Nice.
archive or repository.
So are you colorblind?
I am partially. I think everybody is partially.
Yeah.
Everybody that is.
You know what? I could definitely see wearing this shirt. Even if I'm not colorblind, it's just funny. All right. So yeah, something else you could look at doing on this is you could have it so that way it searches the web for colorblind articles that have a blog that just rewrites those for your tool. So that way every day,
Right.
every week or something, you're just writing one life as a colorblind individual. And you can have it email it to you. Say, here's what I'm thinking about writing. And you go customize a little bit, then go and send it back. But all that type of stuff could be pretty well automated, I think. Yeah, here we got 4 of the 5 pages. And it takes about 30 seconds on each page to write the content, but it takes even longer when you're watching it.
But yeah, it was interesting, going through and kind of just asking it, okay, so what can I do to, what else can I add to this page? What can I do to do this?
Yeah, so now I'm generating those, the images. And I think it's creative to have a bunch of brightly colored items on a colorblind page. So this one almost makes it look like the red is brighter in my eyes.
So the idea here is you can upload your own photo and it'll show you the different types of color blindness and how that image would look to that person.
All right.
I mean, that's great for like a web development class.
Yeah, I think it's cool. So it's a simulator. So what
The
does this
color pick,
page do?
So you hover over any color that's on the image and it kind of tells you down at the bottom kind of the regular name of the color, but then it's also got the HTML and the RGB.
All right. So this would be used for someone that is colorblind that wants to know what an exact color is.
Yeah.
Which tool or model did you use for that?
Grok, just free Grok, whatever.
Nice.
I haven't paid for any of the subscriptions or anything yet, so I'm just using the free ones, and surprisingly, not running out of free use very often with them. So they must be really
Yeah, they're
being
really
generous with
trying to
that.
get market share is what they're fighting for because all of them know that this is the next giant wave of technology.
Mhm.
And then let's go generate this, and if this works correctly. All right. Yeah, so it has the same issue that, well, maybe just someone who's colorblind that doesn't look any different, but it's basically gray on gray. So I need some CSS changes, but um, and then you might want the ability to go through back here and tell it, hey, make sure to put my affiliate, here's my affiliate links, put those in there. So to basically do custom prompting on a per page basis. And I think, yeah. So I can regenerate this. Let's try. Now I haven't tried the actual regeneration. That's a new feature I put in yesterday. Home, awesome resources. Can you put these awesome resources in this page and make it look like it fits? Oh, there's no HTML links in here. Actually, I should be able to do this. Inspect element. And then take this whole div. No, that's too much. I don't want the whole div container. I want this section. Copy element. So if this works, so it says, was that the color picker I did? No. I'll play with that some. Well, that's cool. And it gives me another test case to try testing this against. And any other questions, thoughts, or comments?
Rodney, have you dug into running any like local LLMs? Just
Not
on
really,
a
because
high-end
all the
PC?
local LLMs are significantly less powerful than the frontier models.
Okay.
So like, I mean, I should say, Tim has gotten local LLMs working, but they just, from a speed perspective, token output, and capability perspective, they're like 1/100th as powerful as even the free LLMs that are out there on the frontier side. So with that, it's just not
It's not worth the
not
while.
even. Yeah, like because even if you use a really low cost API, if you're trying to build an application, it's cheaper just to use the lower end like the 4.0 minis or any of those for your back and forth. So we had one working last year, and I think it was outputting like, I think it was 10 tokens. It was either a minute or a second. It was something really, really slow. And most of these calls are doing like 500 to 1,000 tokens per call. So you'd be waiting 10 to 20 minutes in between each response, which
Yeah.
we were piloting it because we wanted to try testing some things internally that it could just run 24 hours and it'd be fine. But even after 24 hours of running, the amount of capability we're getting out of them, we're getting about 24,000 tokens in a 24-hour period. It just wasn't, and the output isn't even as good as the front. Yeah, they're less intelligent, slower, and I think we paid like $2,500 for the hardware that allows the capability to do it. So
I was just
now,
going to ask you that. Is that the computer you were talking about buying, the Copilot?
I know the one we were all super excited about. Yep, that's the one. Now, NVIDIA does have a new desktop coming out that's supposed to be for sale in June, and I will probably buy it just because I'm a sucker for the shiny new thing. But and that is going to allow supposedly frontier style models, the lower models of them, especially the Llama model, to run locally. So I will probably get that. And there are some like larger enterprise clients just don't want their data moved out there. Even if I can pinky promise them, you can get BA agreements, and they're just like they don't want it out there, and that's just a bridge too far from. So if we can get a solution to them, is like, look, here's for $5,000 of hardware, you can have a local LLM that is on par with most of the average LLMs out there. That's attractive to them. It's also why Copilot is easier to deploy in large enterprises because it's already within your tenant and all the security stuff is limited to the access that user has, and it's stored within the tenant that is all where all the data is anyway. Copilot is making a lot of traction on that side, not because they're the best model out there. They just already have the infrastructure in at a lot of larger enterprises, and that is very very useful in most cases. So
Yeah, I was just gonna say that I saw a YouTube video where a gentleman stacked like 3 Mac Minis together to run an LLM.
yep. But that's $2,000 worth of hardware, isn't it?
Per?
Is it per?
I mean, Mac Minis aren't cheap.
All right. Yeah. So, because I have techs of mine out there that are like, hey, we should build our own LLM. And I'm like, I show them the spreadsheet, like, we're going to pay $6,000 to save $6 in token costs. But,
Well, I take it back. They're $600 a pop.
all right. So, yeah, about 2,000 or so.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the NVIDIA desktop one is one I'm highly interested in. PlayStations, I've seen that article before. That's a pretty cool use case for it.
That
We
was
gotta
from
wait for the next
2010.
model of. I hope. I mean, if we're talking about gaming here, anyway, I hope the next model of either Xbox or PlayStation has a neural processing unit inside of it, so you can add AI capabilities into these games. So I think I'd make more immersive environments. But that we'll see if that happens.
Yeah, that was back in 2010.
Yep.
The PlayStation
Yeah,
3
that was the Air
clusters.
Force. Yeah.
Well, and that's a good use case for it, though, because a lot of these hardware manufacturers like that, they're losing money on their hardware to gain market share for sale of their games. So if you can repurpose the hardware, you're getting lower cost hardware that is high end items that has tons of processing power, well beyond what it's worth. So
Yeah,
it'd
I
be interesting to
just
see what
saw
they're
that
doing with that now. Like, can you imagine going to a government surplus auction and finding 50 PlayStations? Like, what were these used for? Like, well, actually, simulating Battlefront, whatever they're doing. All right, any other questions?
No, I mean just to comment that it's interesting trying to stay on top of all the different models that are being released almost, it seems like, on a daily basis.
Yeah. Yeah, the last month especially, like Tim and I were just talking earlier this week, and he's our co-owner of Coulee Tech here, that we're still decompressing from all the data dump they gave us. There's still Google features and stuff that we're still trying to see, like, hey, are these useful? And some of it is useful, but it's like a quarter of a percent better than what I'm already experienced with. So it's like, do I switch over and do I spend all this time learning that? But some of them are like twice as good. Yeah, so we try to experiment and pilot quite a bit, but all
One
right.
last
Any other
link in the chat
questions?
for you. One last link in the chat for you guys.
Oh yeah, I was running this deeper. Yeah, so it looks like you can get GitHub Copilot for students. I don't know why I thought GitHub Copilot was what I'm looking for.
Actually, one I threw out there, I think, is the Google
Oh,
one, Gemini Pro,
Yeah.
which includes the VO3.
yeah. So you remember how I don't like to read these questions, just to click yes? It said, are you referring to GitHub Copilot Pro or Microsoft Pro? I was like, yes. So I was like, all right.
Oh, scroll back up to what that last one. GitHub for Western Technical. Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, you can have the
Thanks.
article. All right. Well, if that's it, we can end the meeting and look forward to seeing you guys next month.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank
See you
you.
all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right. Bye.